The grand final is on, and it is Japan on the top end of the course, and Australia below. Japan doing a nice job there. Will they get across to the first mark in good spot?
Don't push it too hard.
Yeah,
looks like the penalty is off for Australia, Shirley. So what do you think of that start?
Great start by the Aussies. I mean, they could not have managed that better. Absolutely at top speed crossing the line.
Yes, well done to both boats. We're only about 2 boat lengths apart. A little bit of wing wash coming on the Australians, but I don't think it's going to bother them that much. Japan through the first mark in first place. Will Australia jibe off early, or are they going to try and push them over? Looks like they're going to jibe off early. There goes the board down. Will Nathan Outridge, will he match that manoeuvre, or will he just try and sail his own race, Shirley?
Okay, standing by, my wing, going forward.
He's taking his time, he's picking his moment, he's not being forced into making a decision.
Nice job there by Tom Slingsby and the Australian crew to get that jibe in. And it looks like they've got a nice bit of pressure down that mid-side. Japan were a little bit slow coming out of that jibe. You see them have to be a little bit higher in their bows to wind the boat up. In a minute they'll turn and roughly turn towards the same angle that Australia have done, but that was a great job there by the Australians to jibe early.
2, 1, lock, turning.
Australia now on starboard. They have all the rights until they get into the zone.
And Japan just sneaking over the front. Looks like Nathan's going to slam one right in front of his face just to make Tommy have to follow him in here to this bottom mark. And that was a nice, risky manoeuvre, but nice manoeuvre there by Japan. Good job by them.
Alright, stand by. Keep the build on. Yeah, board down.
This race is so Jody, there's like a boat length between them.
Will we expect anything more from these two combatants? We knew this was going to happen. There's been talk about will they split, will they do their own thing? No way. This race is going to go right to the end. Good job attack there by the Australians, who have peeled out first, and hopefully, for their sake, getting over to this right-hand side to that little bit of pressure that's coming down the course. Will Nathan Outridge and his team of Japan go all the way to the boundary and just back himself? We'll soon see. Looks like they've gone a long way over there for the tack, Shirley.
No higher, no higher.
You know, the Japanese are fast, they're good at manoeuvres.
Stand by.
Australia look quite nice there. Japan just coming off that left-hand boundary. Australia setting up for their tack now. If they're ever going to do a good foiling tack, now is the time to do it, because they need to nail this one and get up and going, which it looks like they've done. But Japan look great from that left-hand side at this stage.
Crossing quite easily.
Do you want to hit or not? Alright.
I'm happy. We're not close to, we're too close to hit. Just across.
Well, it's very, very close here, Nathan. Saying too close to hit him, which means he wants to tack on top of him. So the Australians, there's nothing in it. They're about that far apart at the bottom mark, and they're still the same distance after a big tack from both boats going to either side of the course. Now Australia heading over the left. Japan want to follow. That's pretty smart move by Nathan Outridge.
It could be a massive advantage to be the right-hand bow on the screen. You're on starboard, you've got all the rights.
My rack.
And he looks quite nice there off his hips to the right-hand side. Looks like it's paid off there for Japan, because if Australia attack now, Japan might have pulled another couple of boat lengths out of them, unless they get a little left-hander, which Australia might be a little bit bowed down, so they might get something from the left here. Australia look like they're about to get up, set up to go for attack. Kyle Langford got ready to jump up out of the cockpit. Tommy called him to come back down. So they're happy just to keep smoking on over this left-hand side of the course. Maybe make the ley line, Shirley.
I think we can, we just got to watch the traffic.
Here they go, the Australians setting up now.
Speed build here.
My wheel, call the exit angle.
Yep, we'll go left mark here. It's closer mark.
This could be a massive gain for the Japanese team. They want to go to that left-hand side, and they have nailed that ley line to the left-hand mark.
There is still absolutely nothing. I'd call 2 boat lengths at best between these two boats, but like you said, Nathan Outridge and Co have already got around the top mark, and they are heading downhill another 10 knots quicker than what the Aussies are. The Aussies up now around the left-hand gate as we're looking at it. So big decision, big split decisions there between the two boats.
Long job. Copy that.
Slingsby and the Australians done a right job first on that first downhill leg, so will it pay off again, Shirley?
Tom Slingsby very happy with his choice and with his speed, and we can see that. They're nearly 3 knots quicker than the Japanese.
This is the final downwind leg, so we're waiting all year for this, and we have got a couple of legs to go, and it is still nothing between these boats, which is exactly how we wanted it.
Waves here.
Tom Slingsby has not got a heartbeat
20 seconds
according to
to
that
drive.
graphic. 73 beats per minute.
Splatter water
It's
again.
pretty cool.
The Aussies have been faster all the
He'll
way
probably
down
match
here.
us, right?
This is neck and neck.
Copy. We'll probably be info later.
Japan look a little bit higher in the bows there. They're coming up on a little bit of a lift coming up in towards the Aussies. So the Aussies will be taking a little bit of time out. Here comes the Aussies now setting up for their jibe.
My wheel. Standing by.
Okay. All right.
Aussies on
Potential for
starboard,
a
right of
nympho.
way boats. Must avoid the
Keep going hard
Japanese.
here.
It's almost like action replay of the first downhill.
We've got the inside, I
The
think. Go
distance is
hard.
exactly the same, but they've done a nice job there. Australians, will they be able to roll over the top of the Japanese and come into this zone first? Oh, is it? Oh, very, very close there.
Down, flag coming down.
Australia, Japan tried to get up underneath the Australians and push them off.
Eagle.
Not sure whether he had an overlap there. We'll soon see from the umpires.
Call it.
It's not there. Lock now.
Up here.
Australia done what we call an eagle. So 2 boards in. They had to get 2 boards to get down into the zone. Japan got really badly hurt out of that, Shirley.
Terrible, no boat speed. They went very aggressively to get the penalty and didn't get it.
And has that been the move, the $1 million move that lost him this race? We'll soon see. Very, very aggressive, as you said there, Shirley. He was trying to keep Tommy and the Australians out of that zone, but he pushed him up, didn't have the overlap, and Tommy had enough to just go around in front of him.
Little header here, slingers.
So we're on the final leg now of the championship race for the 2019
Or down.
SailGP Grand Final, and it is the Australians, Tom Slingsby, leading the charge into this race. Got a couple of tacks to go. He's going over to possibly cover the Japanese, Shirley. How do they think they're going to come out of that other side?
How are we doing there, Milky? Have a look at him. Yeah, looking good.
They seem happy, the Australian team. They're looking good. They're confident that they're crossing.
Well, that move could come back to haunt Nathan Outridge. It looks like he'd get a little bit of breeze there, but the Australians look fantastic as well up on the left. There's about 100-metre difference on the grids, but once they get to actually crossing, I think it's only going to be about 4 boat lengths at best. You reckon Australia would have slammed one straight on top of him, or will he go over and set himself up for the top mark? Remember, we're finishing at the top mark here. This is the final leg. We do not have a reach into the finish. They are finishing at the top mark.
Regardless, please disregard. We have been unable to move the finishing mark.
Have a look
So
at
close. So close.
What's the mark here? Eagle.
No, we're good.
You hear him say eagle, and Tommy says no, we're good. So what that means is Kyle was calling, do we need that other foil down? Look how close that is.
Showing.
Copy.
Wow. Oh my God.
Nathan's mistake, though, Jody, was picking what turned out to be the wrong side at that top mark. He let the Australians take the right-hand side of the course, more pressure, more speed, and they came right back into the game.
And that's exactly what they did in that first lap, so I'm surprised they made the mistake twice, but we're not that far away from the finish. We've got a couple of 100 metres to go. Australia are leading the grand final here in Marseille. Tommy Slingsby would be very, very happy with where he's getting his boat up. Maybe one more tack to go, or will they make it down from there? It all started with a win in Sydney, then an emotional victory in San Francisco. They were beaten in New York. They dominated in Cowes. It's time to get up and party. Australia is the 2019 SailGP champion.
There's the start there. Spitting's done a fantastic job again, but who's going to get on the foils first? It's Australia and Tom Slingsby. They're boosting away towards Mark 1, the camera boat in the way of the Japanese here, but boosting away. This is going to be a huge lead for Tom Slingsby as the Americans fall off the foils in the background. Advantage Slingsby.
Just trying to foil here, real
Both
soft
boats
here.
behind off the foils.
Head first is up, slingers. Yeah, trying to get through this. Nathan Outridge, we have to apologise for a bit of swearing there. He was very upset with the camera boat that was in his way as he was trying to accelerate.
We're going again here, Milky.
There we go. That's the voice of Tom Slingsby, and he is going to be down the road. Look at these two boats here, sat in no wind.
Left turn, please.
And I'm looking at the UMPAP right now. Australia's about to get to Mark 1, and they must have half a leg lead on the Americans and the Japanese that we're on board with now. The Australians have just arrived at Mark 1 in pressure, bearing away. And
look at the speed difference.
Look at the speed difference, 50 kilometres an hour versus 25. I know which boat I'd like to be on, but as the hull pops up on board the American boat here, look for the right-hand side of screen. They're up and foiling. Right, time to chase them down. That's the voice of Paul Campbell. James calling there, come down, we can turn down. I've got good wind in the boat, I'm up and foiling, and they're now leaving the Japanese behind.
And the Americans are about to arrive at Mark 1. The Australians are halfway down the second leg, with the Japanese a long way back in first. Here's our leaders, here's Australia. They have got one in.
As they get away from the shore, we can see in the background there, they're moving further and further away from the shore, and as they move downwind, they're going to find more wind. Clear away from the shore, so the rich are going to get richer early on.
These are the defending champions, Australia. They get an early break here in the grand final. $1 million plus on the line. They make the turn. They are on to leg number 3, and they will see the Americans and the Japanese still making their way down course. So a huge advantage to a team that you do not want to give an advantage to.
First tap early, keen to tap there on board the Australian boat. Try to stay in the breeze away from shore.
So we're set up in that westerly race course again with the breeze round in the south. Really makes it a bit processional, but that westerly breeze might kick back in and the breeze swing to the right.
Awful lot of manoeuvres on board the American boat there at the bottom. Paul Campbell, James Wingtrim are very happy. They managed to stay on the foil as we see Japan in the background. Can't help feeling as we approach the top of the course, right up underneath that San Francisco shoreline, that's where the jeopardy's going to come back into it for this Australian crew. Can they get in and out of there staying on the foils?
I think the left-hand approach looks better at the top. So we can get all the height we can.
He wants to be on the left-hand side. He wants to be nearer the shore, Freddie Carr. He wants the breeze coming off that San Francisco shoreline.
Yeah, the breeze is out of that San Francisco shoreline. And right now the Australians are pointing directly at the windward mark in pressure. And they are extending and extending and extending, coming up to a 500-metre lead.
Heard him discussing the manoeuvre here. Does he want to do a Chicago? Right turn early, jibe. So he's looking to set up for a right turn straight into a jibe. They're going to be able to sail directly up and down the course. This is a leader's dream. It's just about sailing their own boat now. Keep it smooth, keep it simple.
Gains up here.
Talking about the gains, there you see the wind at the top. Checking in around 20 kilometers an hour, and it's Australia that found the wind first. They took off as they make their way on. You heard the talk of the Chicago.
Chicago, that's a right turn on the jibe, but they're off the foils.
Down.
Off the foils here. Now, how long are they going to stay off the foils? Will they get more wind back to pop up? This could be opportunity knocks for the boats behind if they're going to get a chance. This is it. Where's the next gust of wind?
Look at the top left, look at the distance to lead, and that is coming down pretty quickly. It's about to go down past 500. It's going down 10 metres a second as the Australians are off the foil, and it looks to me like the USA are coming in with good pressure in the middle of the course.
Listen to that, Tom Slingsby, we've got to be patient, we've got to punch through this. We can see it.
I think we're going to go for the top.
We can see it foiling in come the American crew. Look at the distance coming down. Will they get there in breeze? At the moment, look at the speeds. 11 kilometres an hour for the Australians, 45 kilometres an hour for the USA, and they're back within the same shot. The race is all on.
We have a restart.
But they're not laying. They're not laying. How big a mistake's that? They look like they might have been a bit greedy. They need to make the right turn.
But look at this, guys. It was over 500 meters the lead for the Australians. It is now below 125. And now the Americans, and here comes Japan.
I'll tell you what, and Japan will round up in a real lefty here. They are going to lay. And if the Japanese keep the boat on the foil, which they don't, and the Australians pick up the breeze, the Japanese have just come in to...
We can see there on the back of the boat, Nina Curtis looking out for breeze. Hull comes up, good sign for the Australian fans. Next thing we should look to see is on the right-hand side of the screen, can they get that other hull out of the water? Can they get it foiling again? It's skimming, there it goes, it's up, it's released. The rich are about to get richer again, boosting away.
So here comes the distance. Watch this grow quickly.
Around this mark to the finish.
Background, the Japanese are through to second, but look, they're at under 10 kilometres, they're at 8
Look at the boat
kilometres
speed
an hour.
difference. Look at the boat
50
speed
kilometres
difference.
an hour, 40 kilometres an hour difference. That's just huge. But we've seen it, the top of the course is going to be pivotal. Nathan Outridge, he's spent less time in the water than anyone else. Looks like he's about to get foiling again. Up to second of the Japanese crew. This race is still on.
Reset. I know it's too eased. Keep building here.
Didn't quite get it up on the foils. A mistake from the Japanese crew there.
Really
as the
windy, we're
Aussies
just
are
going to do
off.
the turn and
I'm looking at the unpack, and the Australians are in the bottom third of the downwind, whilst the Japanese are still trying to get on the foil in the top half of the upwind, and the Americans are stuck at the windward gate in no wind.
This is leg 4 of 6. They will make the turn, they will head upwind, and then it'll be a short distance to the finish line, and Australia has almost locked this thing up. The defending champions from last year looking to make it 2 in a row, and look at the distance going.
Stevie, is this a victory lap right now? 800 metres.
I think they're going to struggle to not manage to make it stick from here, but we've seen how bad the top of the course can be.
Mark to finish, correct? Yep.
I can't see it from here. They're just looking so solid. Just whether or not they're this far ahead, they're sailing the boat the best. That's what they're doing a great job. Lots of comms on board the boat. The Japanese, they are on the foils. They have closed the distance a bit. They're going faster, 66 kilometres an hour versus 55.
Distance to lead is 600 metres. The Americans, the Australians, pardon me, are halfway up their final upwind and on the foil.
Locking it in and setting up. Boundary coming quick, my wing. Going forward. Good puff here. 2, 1. 2, 1. Locked. Sitting. 1.
So here we go. It is Australia, the winners of last year's SailGP season, with a massive lead, looking to bring it home and claim the win in the grand final. All kinds of drama taking place today in races 4 and 5 collisions. We had an abandonment, we had a whale sighting, and now they have come back, and the Australians have been the class. Remember, guys, they've already got 4 wins on the season, and they look so smooth.
Currently pointing below the mark.
It's the voice of Carl Langford. We're not quite pointing at the marks, but Slingsby just wants to get the boat up on foiling. The reassurance of foiling is all they need. Look, they're up and going. Speed's going to build. They're foiling high above the water, and that could well be the crucial moment as they bring it in towards the finish line.
2, 1, going forward. Going hard.
Japan has moved into second place, but they are more than 460 meters behind Australia. Similar the way it ended last year, with Australia getting the win ahead of Japan. The USA nowhere in the running right now with that damaged boat. They sit in 3rd place. But this, the grand final, Tom Slingsby seems to save the best for last. For Australia, SailGP, the repeat is now complete. 2-time SailGP champions here in San Francisco.
Getting soft to here. Pressing hard lefty.
This is just the victory lap as they flex for the fans that have turned out here to watch the world's best sailors as they cruise along the shoreline. And it is Australia that claims the title in 2022.
1, just gonna bear away here, guys. Bearing away here.
Wow. There you go, that means something. Jason Waterhouse there in the hatch flight controller, absolutely fizzing. Australian fans absolutely fizzing. What a race. I mean, the conditions, got to say, over the season, deserved champions for me, and to deliver in those conditions, wow, fair play. What a start. Australia and New Zealand perfect. It's New Zealand with a slightly faster angle to Mark 1, but Slingsby's going to be on the holding on the inside, and he will control things at Mark 1. Ainsley's got work to do on board Great Britain.
Coming up.
So with just 3 boats out on the bay, the battle is on. Mark number 1, it's Australia and New Zealand as the old rivals get together one more time.
New Zealand must keep clear. Slingsby's aggressive. This is an opportunity for Ainsley. Ainsley will be back in the race here at Mark 1, but the Australians lead. They have control of the first decision, and it's now a test of speed. Which one of those flight controllers is going to be brave enough to fly the boat highest? Expect Ainsley to be the first to turn the British boat away.
And look at those speeds approaching 70 kilometers an hour. There you see Great Britain on the left side of your screen, Australia right in the middle as we ride on board with the Kiwis.
Setting up in the background of the British crew there. No control for the Kiwis at the moment. They're really much reliant on the other boats turning away. First to go, it's Emirates GBR. Second, it's going to be Australia, and it's how well lined up they are for Gate 2. We heard from Lisa, and we've seen in both races that at Gate 2, it's been favourable to turn left. Can the British make it down here with no more manoeuvres? If not, then it should be controlled to Slingsby early on in this $1 million race. 44-metre lead right now. I wonder what the heart rate is, Todd. Mine's pretty high.
Emily, how far out are they already looking at what direction they're going to turn?
They'll be constantly thinking about 1 move, 2 moves, 3 moves ahead of them. They're going to be thinking even about the next gate after this one.
They'll have decided that before the start, 100%. If we're leading, we want to turn left. That will be in a set play situation here. But for the boats behind, they're already taking second pickings here, Todd. But we're early in the race, so it's about keeping it tight right now. But look at the boat speed on board the Australians.
Be going a right turn. Great. Happy to be a little fast, nothing major.
What's Tom Slingsby seen? We thought they liked left turn early. Slingsby wants to minimise the number of manoeuvres here. The water's getting choppier, it's tight. New Zealand and Great Britain. Great Britain have the right of way. That was a close cross for the Kiwis. Interested if anything comes of that.
Going right.
They are all setting up for a right. It saves you a manoeuvre by going right. Every time they turn the boat, you slow down. So they're saving a manoeuvre going right. But don't be surprised to see the Kiwis take a different choice when we get down the bottom here, as they're now well out the back of the fleet and they need a miracle from here. Maybe not a miracle, but they've got to find more wind from here.
Well, we've seen this before at gate number 2 with Australia out in front and in control. There you see the wind speeds at the top. They're traveling right around 57 kilometers an hour and the wind holding right under 30 kilometers an hour. So we'll see in the upwind how they handle it. And it's the Brits, the first one to make the turn.
They were just following behind the Australians, so they would have been a disturbed wind going a bit slower there, Todd. So their option was to move away. I think for New Zealand, they've got to hope that Australia engages Great Britain.
New Zealand offshore, slightly less pressure than the boats close inshore, so that's good news for Australia at the moment.
It's going to be a tight race here, though. The Australians are keeping it tight. They want to be trying to travel in the same direction as the boat in second place. So right now, they've both got the wind coming over the left-hand side of the boat on board Great Britain and Australia. New Zealand, well, they're going the other way, but over 150 metres behind on our ladder lines. We can see they've got a bit of work to do.
Leg 3 of 6 on the $1 million race, the final race of season number 3 as we go down into the water, and Lisa Darmanin.
Well, it is certainly patchy out here, which means that there's lots of little pressure pockets around the race course. So I know I was saying I thought one way worked, but I think staying flexible out here during this race is everything. The other thing, it's later in the day, it's choppier out to sea, so I think they might be searching for flatter water to hit higher speeds as well.
Textbook positioning by Tom Slingsby here. We can see the wind is coming from the right-hand side of our screen. It will be deflecting off the Australian wing, and it will be turbulent by the time it reaches Great Britain. That'll be slowing them down.
Our move is to match Ben on the next one, but it's going to work a bit of height, yeah.
When he says match, he wants to be directly lined up with them, Todd. He wants to be going the same way. If you can sail in the same patch of wind, and you're confident of your speed, as the Australians are, then there's a very little chance for the British to get by.
And why wouldn't they right now? Look at the speeds at 55 kilometers an hour going upwind. They've got almost a 200-meter lead on Great Britain, who sits in second, and the Kiwis still having their issues in third.
Kiwis have got to find a bit of space and try and get away from the other boats, but that's just not easy.
Australia's gap is growing all the time. They are, on average, the fastest boat on the course, although that's not...
Oh, they're off the foils, Emily. They've fallen off the foils. They said it's a bit light here. They're out of breeze. This is going to be a huge opportunity. Look at the ride height. They're only 12 centimetres above the water. They're off the foils. The lead's coming down all the time here. They're back up to speed. heart-in-the-mouth moment for Australians here. It could be control back to the British. When they turn, Great Britain will have the right of way. Tom Slingsby will need to be confident that he's clear ahead as we approach gate 3.
And that mistake cost the Australians half their lead. It was 200 meters. It's now down to 100 meters. There you see the Australians at the top of your screen. Great Britain at the bottom.
We just don't see mistakes. That's pressure, Todd, right there. But it's a good recovery, and it sounded calm on board the Australians. Expect to see the Australians turn directly in front of Ainsley again to try and get control of this race again. He was stretching away. It was looking easy for a moment. Wow, good recovery by Australia, but it shows us one mistake and this final could flip on its head.
The breeze inside, lifting, taking the height quickly here. We're going to go right turn. You could... Okay.
Interesting. Slingsby on board there said he wants to take right turn. He's happy to do another manoeuvre. There just seems to be less wind right now in towards San Francisco shoreline. Australia fell off the foils, lost a lot of distance. He knows Ainsley's going to take the right turn because he can't make it in one. So again, he keeps himself in the same patch of water as Emirates GBR by taking this right turn. So an extra manoeuvre, but an awful lot more control for the Australian boat right now.
So the Australians are around safely, and they've got a nice lead. And now look at the speed on the top of the mast, coming up on 64 kilometers an hour in first place.
Todd, with 2 long legs and a short sprint to the finish away from $1 million. How's your heart rate on board that Australian boat right now?
The lead now back up to 200 meters, and New Zealand opts to go inshore.
Here we go. We're going to go on board Australia here and listen in. What's in Slingsby's mind right now?
GBR set up. High rate, moving hard. Okay, coming into pressure and fires here, guys. Let's just smooth it out. Hey, follow, they're on our line.
Voice of Tash Bryant at the back there, talking about where the British are. They're on our line. That's just what you dream of hearing as the tactician and driver in Tom Slingsby. They just follow me here. I then can just trust Kyle Langford as the wing trimmer, trust Jason Waterhouse, the flight controller. I know they're the best in the business. I know they can keep the boat going as fast as these others. So at the moment, it's just a case of trying to keep this Australian boat lined up with Great Britain, and it's a team job.
One lifted here. That's max lift for St. Auto. 120. Let's stand by.
This is leg 4 of 6, the grand final here in San Francisco, and it's the 2-time reigning and defending champions out in front. But look at this, the Kiwis have now moved into second place ahead of Great Britain.
Big gain, they found more wind in by the shore. It hadn't been there before, but Burling spotted it, and he's now back within 100 metres.
And that's the summary from that previous leg. The Australians really on form. Even with that touchdown close to the shore, they still had the highest average speed and sailed less distance. You can't get better than that.
That's what you want right there. And Emirates Great Britain, they've dropped off. The Kiwis are fast, some 7 kilometres an hour faster than the Australians, but crucially, still 100 metres behind, and all the boats are going to look well lined up for a right turn. And if everyone follows Australia, that'll be good news for the Australians. What trick has Pete Burling got left up his sleeve to try and drag a rabbit from a hat at the end of this final here?
Still work to do here on leg number 4. They'll be around this next gate, then to the top of the course. And as Stevie pointed out, a quick sprint to the finish line and the $1 million prize. It's the 2-time defending champions out in front. New Zealand, though, have found speed late. Look at that. They're going 60 kilometers an hour. Just almost even with the Australians. Can they reel them in, Stevie? This may come down to one final mistake.
Well, if anyone makes a mistake, that's going to be it. But the crucial move here is Burling is taking the left turn at the bottom. He maybe thinks he's seen more wind the other way. This is really probably his only move, to split the course, hope he gets more wind. If he finds more wind, he'll be faster. Just 9 seconds needed to claw back on this fine upwind leg, and it's now a strategist's game. Who's found more wind? Slingsby, quick to turn the boat, trying to get himself back over and closer to the New Zealand boat. And it's going to be all about who's read the wind best at this stage.
Let's get it going.
Low drag position on board Australia.
It's going to lift here, slingers. Yeah, no, I got it.
So there we just heard from Carl Langford, it's going to lift. That's great news for them. That means the wind's going to turn to the left and start to bring them more directly up the ladder line Great news. Should be a gain, showing us a gain at the moment, and expect a bit of a repeat, Todd, of what we saw on the last upwind.
So, Stevie, is this the case of Australia and Tom Slimsby? They're going to match whatever the Kiwis are doing in Peter Burling?
Yeah, I think so. Look, off the foils, Great Britain. There just seems to be less wind in by the shore. It's easy to fall off the foil. There we go. Straight lines himself up with Burling. Burling's got to manoeuvre soon to try and keep this race alive. You've got to move. As soon as the Australians move, Burling needs to move and try and get a mistake out of the Australians. Every time you manoeuvre, there's a potential. Here we go. The Kiwis turn one more time. What does Australia do here? I wouldn't be going too far towards San Francisco shoreline now. Got to be a manoeuvre for Australia soon here.
Speed still good on for Australia, 53 kilometers an hour. Similar for New Zealand. They lead now 100 meters as they get ready to make the left-hand turn at the next gate at mark number 5, and then it'll be the sprint to the finish line.
Crucially, the Australians stayed on their foil in that manoeuvre. That was where they fell off their foil last time. They've stayed foiling. That doesn't give much of an opportunity yet. Still 100 metres in it. Still the New Zealand boat needs to throw manoeuvres at Australia and try and make another mistake on that Australian boat, or it's going to be the three-peat. There's only a few hundred metres to go here, Todd.
And that lead is growing from Australia. Over 100 metres lead now.
Let's stand by there, keep the build on.
Here we go, 600 metres of this upwind leg left to mark 5. Then that short sprint to the finish. The race is getting closer, but Slingsby's not willing to give Burling any space. Again, lines himself up parallel. It's now just a question of boat speed, and we know the Australian boat's fast. What's Burling got up his sleeve? Surely one more manoeuvre from the Kiwis.
Got to get it going here. Head down, fingers, big transition coming. Yeah, we're losing big time here. Just got to get the boat going.
Big transition coming. What he means by that is there's a change in the wind speed. There's a big change coming. We've got to re-accelerate the boat. And look, they have. Top of the mast, matching boat speeds. 2 more manoeuvres for all the crews here. New Zealand make it first. Australia will go straight in front of him. It's all about whether anyone makes a mistake now, Todd. This is Australia's to lose.
Great Britain out of the picture there, 200 meters behind the Kiwis in second place. And look at this, Australia puts it down.
Oh, he's got to stay above 30. Oh my Lord, he's off the foils. This is giving New Zealand a chance. He's going to have to turn again, and he's going to be slow when he turns. Advantage New Zealand here. This could go to the wire, Todd. Australia have got to keep clear here. New Zealand stay on the foils. What do Australia do? They're going to struggle to stay foiling on board Australia. On the inside, it's New Zealand. New Zealand, if they can get over that. Wow, no. Slingsby holds on. He leads at mark 5.
First to the circle, and Australia has priority, and the Kiwis, and now it is an absolute drag race for $1 million. The 2-time reigning and defending champions, they can see the finish line. The checkered flag is there. The Kiwis are going to run out of water. The Australian dynasty is still intact, and the three-peat is now complete.
Have you ever seen anything like that? Who's got their timing right? They're all going to hit the line fast. Spain's so fast at the top of the line. Pole predictor says they're going to lead at mark 1, but I think they're going to struggle to get round the top of the Australians from here. Absolute drag race in at the moment. New Zealand, can they stay alongside? It's going to be Spain. They're going to lead at mark 1.
There we go.
The Season 4 Grand Final is on as they approach mark number 1, and it is the Spanish out in front. The first time they have led a race here in San Francisco, and they picked the perfect time.
Oh, the execution was perfect, Todd, and you could just see the ramifications of those other races. New Zealand were scared of the start line. They ended up a little bit slow at it. They've been early advertising. Look at the fans on the shore. There's been 2 massive sporting successes for Spain today. They say these things come in threes, and when a start like that makes it best possible. Australia are being forced off the course. There's a boat in the way of them. Oh no, disaster for the Aussies. No massive panic, but that's really opened the door for the Black Foils to come back at the Spanish as they set themselves up for gate 2. We've seen that one more manoeuvre and a right turn has been the favoured move all day. Let's see what they go with.
And the pressure is on the Spanish team here. They have been slightly slower on average on this downwind leg than the Kiwis, trailing behind them, but clearly gusting pressure on them now, almost up to 80 kilometres an hour.
See See the dark patches on the water, that's what they're looking for. That's where your gusts of winds are coming from. You see the speeds at the top of the mast. 76 kilometers an hour for the Spanish out in front. They got the whole shot, and now it is on. It is going to be who can reach this finish line first. We've got 6 legs to go, and the Spanish in prime position.
Setting it up here. They'll gain the right of way when they manoeuvre the boat here, so they don't need to worry too much about the Australians. They just need to worry about the gate. Now for the Blackfoils, they want to keep things tight as we're heading down to the bottom of the course. Australia, oh, there's a late decision there by Slingsby. That doesn't look like a perfect manoeuvre, but it's so tight. Oh, this was one turning mark at the bottom of the course here. Spain, they take the right turn. They're going to go round, but New Zealand execute a nice turning. Advantage New Zealand at the moment. As we head towards that boundary on the shoreline there, the Spanish will be able to manoeuvre away, but the Blackfoils are coming as all 3 boats head off in the same direction. It's just a boat speed race at the moment.
A boat speed race, but there is so much pressure on every manoeuvre they make, especially as they get in close to the shore and it gets gustier. They cannot drop off the foils in these manoeuvres, or they leave the door open to the boats behind to get through.
Here we go. New Zealand, they manoeuvre straight on top of the Australians. That's not good news for Slingsby, and the Spanish now, they're stretching out all the way to boundary here. So now, this is a real test of strength as we go across here. Can the Spanish, with their nose out in front, make that red boat go fast enough? They've struggled all weekend, but they've given themselves the perfect opportunity right now, but the Blackfoils are faster at the moment.
And there you get a good idea of just how big that lead is. It's about 100 meters with Spain at the top of your screen. The red and yellow, then it's New Zealand in second place, Australia in third.
All 3 teams with 100% fly time so far. On average, we're seeing the Spanish push that ride height just a little bit more than the other 2, really putting that pressure on themselves to get there first.
Hard moment for the Australians across there, but I think it's going to get hard for the Kiwis from here because Spanish focus will go onto that second place boat right now. They'll try and put the boat directly into the wind of the New Zealand boat, try and block the wind down to the New Zealand boat as we're on board the T-Mobile for Business POV camera, and that's a pretty smooth tack out there. But Lisa, we can see all the boats heading back towards the shoreline. Where's the advantage at the minute?
The shoreline has definitely been paying all day. What's really interesting though is the whole course has gotten way flatter, so that tide is probably ripping in now, so that's flattening the waves out. So they can probably push the boat, like Emily was saying with the ride height. It has gotten a little bit lighter as well, so they can probably push the boat even more. So it'd be interesting. It is neck and neck here. Anything can happen still.
Oh, they're in a really good patch of wind on that shoreline, Todd. Spain have the right of way here, but the Australians have gone so fast across there. It's going to be a big blocking move by the Spanish. New Zealand now have some space, but they're back in third. But there's nothing in this. When the boats come back together, New Zealand will have the right of way, but are they close enough to make that count?
Coming up on the halfway point here, the grand final, leg 3 of 6. It is Spain barely ahead of the Australians, and there you see on the left side of your screen, it is New Zealand. So who is going to make the right decision here as they approach the gate?
Speeds are looking good on those teams close to the shore, Spain and Australia. Kiwis looking a little bit slower on average offshore.
I just think there's more wind up on that shoreline. They were in a big patch of breeze up there, the Spanish and the Australians, but there's still plenty to go here in this race, but the Blackfoils have got a problem. They've got to find a way through, and there's not going to be easily found. Spain positioning themselves perfectly. They've maybe sailed a little bit further than they needed to here. Could have been right in front of the Australians there. Slight mistake by the Spanish. They will lead at this gate, but they could have hurt the Australians into here.
It is a safe place for them to manoeuvre though. They can put the bow down, sail a wider angle, accelerate. You can see here 69, 70 kilometers an hour for the Spanish team.
And watch this as they hit the turbo and make the turn. Look at the speeds.
Ooh, 90k an hour around that mark. And here we go, roll of the dice for New Zealand. Desperation times for the Blackfoils. They've been so dominant in season 4, but it doesn't matter. The Spanish boat, who've also really been the surprise act of the whole season. Well, look at them. Go the Gambas.
All the points are washed away to Stevie's point, although the Kiwis came into this one on 93 points, well clear of Australia and Spain. Those scores marked away. It is all one race for the title.
Okay, look at the Spanish go, and of course, Wimbledon was won today by Carlos Alcaraz. The European Football Championships was won today by the Spanish. And here we go.
They're going for the triple.
Feels like it. Feels like momentum's on their side, doesn't it? But the Australians are not going away anywhere. New Zealand have sailed away from wind. There's definitely more wind by that shore.
We're going to keep it close here, guys. We'll take them on the next beat.
Oh, good call. Good call. That's solid call. It's not the time to roll it away. You don't. If you want to overtake someone, you don't deliberately do the wrong thing. You've got to keep the pressure on. Slingsby's been in this situation. Diego Bottin has never been in a situation where he's got in his hands at the moment. He holds the SailGP Season 4 trophy.
Diego Bottin now operating with a 100-meter lead. He does not know what Tom Slingsby is planning, but he's got to know, Stevie, Tom Slingsby is going to take some chances. He's got one more leg to do it.
And they're setting up here for that final maneuver downwind to that bottom gate. It's a right turn in. There's no options here, so they'll be headed back in towards the shore where they had better breeze.
It's pretty nice for the Spanish that there is only one mark at the bottom there, where that gate's unfortunately we've just ended up with one mark, and it just means total control for the Spanish because Australia have to follow. Okay, the Australians are going to want to try and keep this. They're going to set it up after the next manoeuvre. They'll try and manoeuvre away first and then rely on their boat speed to get around the Spanish. But New Zealand, wow, huge loss by sailing away from that shore.
You can see here the Spanish keep trying to sail that slightly higher mode. So they're a little bit slower than Australia, but they're sailing a shorter distance up the course, and that's just to get a tactical advantage over
They missed the
Australia.
manoeuvre.
Australia dipping both balls.
They missed that. The board's not gone down. You can see the board's not locking. Oh, that's
huge gains to Spain.
That's a disaster. That's a tech issue. The board's now locked. Big mistake on the tack there. As they turned the boat, the board needed to click onto the lock. It didn't. Oh, it'll be interesting to find out what that was, but that's going to be absolutely disastrous. It's a 150-metre, nearly 200-metre lead for Spain now. Oh, is this the crowning moment for this Spanish team?
Could this be a Cinderella story played out on the water? Look at this one more time.
Here we go. We set up for the manoeuvre here. They turn the boat. It's that foil on the left-hand side of our screen. See how it starts to come up? It's coming up. It's not locked down properly. And then as of that, the boat doesn't stay on the foil. Disaster for the Australians. Oh, what a nightmare for them. Massive lead now for the Spanish. Can they make it to this final turning mark with just one more manoeuvre? I'm not sure if they can, looking at the angles we've got here, but the Australians are miles away.
Keep it going.
Yeah, exactly.
Solid, Diego. I think you've nailed it, mate. Just got to keep it calm. They've got to respect the basics. Now, that yellow line there, that is the ley line. So that means once they've passed that, they should be able to do this one final manoeuvre and then make it to the final turning mark with no more turns. This is it. Season 4 is going to be Spanish.
They've still got a little distance to go, then they'll hit the last gate, they'll make a quick left-hand turn, and then it's towards the shore. Barring any major disaster, Spain will be celebrating well into the night, and here we go. Spain bringing it home. There's mark number 5, there's the finish line, there's the San Francisco skyline in the distance. This could be the greatest race in Spanish history. They won in Los Angeles, they won in Bermuda, and they've got problems.
They don't have problems. They've just pulled that ley line a little bit too tight, so they're having to sail really high angles to make this mark, which means they've come off of the foil here, leaving the door open behind them. The Australians are coming in 65 kilometers an hour. Pressure is on for the Spanish team to get back up on the foils here.
Here comes Australia, they make the turn, and now it's a drag race to the finish line. Can the Spanish get it done? They've got 100 meters to go.
Come on!
And they will get it. Vamos España! Spain claims season 4.
Vamos de Gallas.
Australia second, New Zealand third, no penalties. It is official.
Absolutely insane grand final race.